Hello, and welcome back to Shy Talk, an Irish history podcast. Yes, we disappeared for about a month there. We're back. It was wedding season. We both went to international weddings. I was in Canada. Jason went to Brazil. And somewhere in the mix, we also deleted all the episodes that we had pre-recorded before we both left for the American continents. So we're a little behind, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But we are back, and we've got some interesting episodes coming up. We're going to start back with this episode about William Desmond Taylor, which is actually one of the first episodes we did about 6 years ago. It was one of the first couple of episodes that we recorded. But since then, in the last couple of months, I guess we were in Carlow as part of the Carlow Arts Festival, and we got to meet some people who'd written and researched extensively about this. So it's all updated with new facts and recorded an awful lot better than it had been when we were in my old kitchen 6 years ago. So here it is, the story of an early Hollywood murder mystery and just the interest in life of a man from Carlow, which is, always good podcast stuff. But we've also got a list of suspects for the case. We ran through all of them for the Patreon. So if you want to figure out, we'll level with you. No one knows who did it, basically. But we've got some good guesses. And that will all be talked about in the Patreon episode. If you want to head over there, the link will be in the bottom of this episode. But for now, you can just listen to Life and Times of a Man from Carlow.
Gather around now, you're in for a story. Old tales of lore, all in search of a glory. The history and mystery of lads, lasses and all. Discoveries and voyages, the rise and the fall. Follow me now as we go back in time. We trace the steps of Irish heritage to find. Jason from Carlow and Kevin the dog guide you through the ways of Shy Talk.
A big shout out before we start to Mark Ivan O'Gorman, who who came down and joined us at the Carlow Arts Festival in the summer when we did this episode live.
Yeah.
Corrected me on 90% of the things that I thought were true.
He did, but enthusiastically and kindly, I thought.
I thought it added to the show in a very funny way. And it's not 90% of the things. A lot of the stuff's real. He just decided to every so often tell me, I know Mark was great, he was class. He was just like, oh no, all of that's because it's a Hollywood media who are just lying to you, because they want to make him seem class.
He did. I thought he had a lot of the stuff that he made it much more salacious, I guess. You were basically reading his press releases and you're like, oh god, he's a war hero. He's donates money to charities. We're all a nice guy. And Mark was like, yeah, that was written by some intern. And you're lapping it up. 100 years later, you're still drinking the Kool-Aid.
But that means it's good because we did this episode in season 1.
Yeah, it shows how we've grown as investigative journalists. You did the same information, but now we've got.
I'd padded it out with more falsehoods.
That's true.
And then we did it live in Galway.
Yeah, but what's happened now is they've been around long enough that people are like, no, they're phoning in. The lines are hopping. They're like, that's incorrect.
Also, just to give a shout out to Brian Attright, who I played football with in growing up in Carlow, who was over from, I think he said Australia.
Yeah.
And then came down to the gig and surprised me. I hadn't seen him since I'd say I was about like 14, 15.
Yeah.
Listens to the show. And it makes me nervous then. As soon as he said that, it was like, how many people are out there who we know who listen and haven't told us?
That I'd say 4.
Probably 4.
4 or 5.
Yeah.
Probably.
That terrifies me.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, cheers to Mark Ivan O'Gorman for correcting some of the stuff. So just as we go through the script, I'm going to tell it in my original way.
And then add in marks.
And then, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Asterixes.
That
little Viking.
Yeah.
What was he?
No, he was a Gaul. Asterix and Obelix.
Shannon.
Yeah, Shannon Basswood the Gaul. I don't know what to do with it, but yeah, because Asterix and Tintin, those were like the Those are like the books to read for me as a kid. You go to the library and get the Asterix and Tintin books. They're both very old and very... Like, it's a weird thing to be reading as a child.
I didn't even know Asterix was a book or a comic book series. We had it as one of those demos, or like they gave out Age of Empires every computer sold in Ireland between the years of the conception of the computer until about 2005. We got that and Age of Empires. So there was a game with Asterix. I was like, he's just a video game character, and now you're telling me he's a literary phenomenon.
Yeah. But I think if you went back and read them, there'd be a lot of like old style European racism in it.
Oh, just like Tintin.
Because I think I sent you one of the Tintin books is called like it's Tintin in like deepest darkest Africa, or like Tintin's Adventures in the Congo as well. Tintin and the tastefully done, racially updated Adventures in the Congo, 4 pages long. Apparently,
Tintin and the. I'm not saying it's all immigrants. I'm just saying they should be vetted.
Yeah, Tintin and. I'd love to watch, Tintin bumping into Roger Graceman in Congo.
Oh,
great stuff.
So then we'll get cracking with it. Today, for anyone who hasn't heard it before, and we'd recommend don't go back and listen to season 1. It's not particularly good, and the audio quality's pretty bad. Also, for anyone who started following us since season 1, thank you very much. You're great. We love you. Now, William Cunningham...
Well, we actually just got to buy me. Did you see that? I got an email yesterday being like, someone paid... sent us money to buy me a coffee.
That happens occasionally.
Occasionally, but that's like real. And I think the comment was like, making my way through, I'll be up to date in 2028. It's like, just go out there now. Get there now so you can go to the gig.
We're not like Blind Boy, where it's like, go back to the first podcast, first episode of the podcast, understand the lore of the podcast. Listen to the most recent one.
Yeah, work backwards from that. Whatever the most recent one is, if I fill in it or whatever.
Well, actually, if anyone does that, it's like Phil Lynott, Rory Gallagher, a load of Bertie.
Yeah. Yeah,
I thought this was an Irish history podcast. You're just talking about like the 80s onwards.
Yeah, history. Yeah. We'll throw in a reference about some Gaelic kings in the next episode.
But William Cunningham Dean Tanner was born on the Athy Road in Carlow on the 26th of April 1872, the son of a British Army officer, his uncle a Home Rule MP, described then as members of the Irish Anglo gentry, described now as having shoes.
Having shoes, both of them.
Like most of the rich at the time, and as today, he would spend most of his time around other families of the gentry and not mixing with the ruffians down in Carlow town.
They would keep them the same as it is today. Most of the rich people in Carlow, you would say they're from Kilkenny.
Yeah, you never see them. It's like, where do dwarf women come from? As Gimli said, they just sprout from the ground.
Yeah.
I would do like that when I would go into college, and you just like be waiting at a bus stop beside these people. Again, 2 shoes.
Sure.
Best amount of shoes.
Yeah.
A shirt on their back. I was like, where have you been all this time? But what the family lacked in terms of local acquaintances, they made up for with land, horses, and money.
Yeah, that'll fill that hole in your heart.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what Mark had told us, that he was like, they wouldn't have to mix, because why would you mix with people in Carlow when there's one other rich family in Tipperary and another rich family like 4 hours away? You just go and spend weekends with them.
Yeah.
Saltburn style, I guess, or whatever.
Sure.
But in 1885, Taylor left for Bath to attend the prestigious Marlborough
the first man from Carlow to have a bath. There's a plaque to him down there.
No, it says Bath. To Marlborough College. It could have also been Clifton College in Bristol to study engineering.
Okay.
It's possibly both.
Plus, they're relatively close to each other. I've been to both.
But we'll keep doing corrections as it goes along. But
eventually, in another 5 years,
it's also not important, because if anyone Googles this guy, all of this is just a prologue. It doesn't really matter. People only care about the last section of his life, although the rest of it I find fascinating. When William was 18, he saw a play with Charles Hawtrey, and he enjoyed it so much he waited around after the show so he could tell Hawtrey a load of lies about his experience in acting, and got himself his big break in show business.
Excellent. That's how you get your big break. You're either born into it, Either your parents are in the arts, or else you just get drunk and lie to someone that you know book stuff.
And hopefully that goes well. Or even if it doesn't, you're already in. You're already foot in the door. I like your moxie.
Yeah.
And that's what Audrey did. He liked the cut of this young man's jib, and he gives him a small part in the play. He's pretty lucky, all things going well, until a family member or a family friend sees William in the play while performing in London. And that's when his father finds out, and he says, not a chance, there's no money in the arts.
Yeah.
Which got a big laugh when we were doing it live at the Carlow Arts Festival.
That was a little break, the fourth wall, wink and a nod.
Because I actually have it in here in bold. In bold, yeah. So wink
at the crowd, wink at the at the guy holding the purse strings for the Carlow Arts Festival. But that's so you got a small part in the play, and then some family friend saw it and rang his dad.
Yeah,
that's not on. They talk about, I suppose, the sanctity of like the gay club. Doesn't matter who you see in there, you know, like you keep that to yourself.
You're like Vito.
Like exactly like Vito. You don't be, you know, you don't, even now, if you saw someone in the arts in London, you wouldn't ring their Carlow father to be like, Jesus, saw your son in the play. He'd hit the roof.
No, I'd ring Tony Soprano.
You'd ring, till you take care of it internally. Like, doing the arts, are you? What were you doing watching the arts? Never you mind. Never you mind. I was only in there to see
shaking lads down.
Shaking lads money. Down. Yeah, you know, I find I start in the bathroom and I work my way in. So his dad's like, there's no money in the arts.
No, yeah.
Get back to
you have to go do something serious with your life. That's why you were sent off to college in the first place.
Yeah.
So he packs his bags and he's sent off to a place where acting careers go to die. America.
Oh God.
He's sent over to
America.
Eh?
Like they don't know anything about walking the boards, treading the planks.
Pirates?
Pirates. Yeah, whatever.
Actors and pirates.
Yeah, I assume that probably was the big like thinking at the time.
Oh, because they wouldn't have any culture over there at the time.
Yeah.
Much like.
Yeah, but yeah, if you're like in London, the epicenter of, they'd be banging on about like the Shakespeare players or whatever, and then going to America to do what?
To become
bloody cowboy and western.
To become a gentleman farmer on Runnymede Ranch in Kansas City, Kansas. Probably just Kansas in general. We wouldn't have a ranch in the city.
Yeah, but, right bang in the middle of the city.
But it's kind of a finishing school. It's referred to as a dude ranch.
Yeah.
Different kind of finishing.
Yeah.
He worked on the farm for a few years, and when the Klondike gold rush hit, he went to Alaska and worked as a miner. So he's not afraid to get his hands dirty. Also,
he's not. He's not afraid to get his hands dirty in a literal gold rush. When people are like, there's gold pouring out of the ground. He's not afraid to put a bit of elbow grease in.
He's willing to put a shift in. Now, in fairness,
when you're guaranteed money.
I have realised I didn't explain what a gentleman farmer was.
No, well, so I'm sure we made the comparison many times at this stage, but it's Malcolm in the middle. It's Reese on the farm with Otto.
The oldest one, Francis.
It's Francis on the farm with Otto, the Germans. It's where
rich people send their kids to give them a kind of a sense.
Yeah, a sense of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like if someone wanted to make sure that if a rich Irish family wanted to make sure that their child was like seen as a man of the people before going into politics, you'd send them to Kilmainham.
Yeah.
Somewhere fancy. Somewhere that I wouldn't ever dare.
Yeah. It's so that when they go into politics later on, they can be like, listen, I worked on a dude ranch. Just me, the fellas. Listen, I know a bit about hard work. I was down a gold mine in Alaska for almost 3 days. My dad's a bus driver. The election is coming up now in a couple of weeks, and my Instagram is just full of clips of Micheál Martin being like, listen, my father's a bus driver.
I saw he was on the Lewis.
Yeah, was he? He's stolen the Keir Starmer. My dad's a carpenter or whatever. My dad works with tools. He's just...
Meanwhile, on the other side, you have Michael O'Leary going, fuck teachers.
Yeah, I saw that as well. Yeah. It was good. Yeah. Bit of a swing.
But as soon as he said it, I was like, I did have to catch myself, because I was like, as soon as he'd mentioned teachers, I was like, oh yeah, Micheál Martin.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, you shouldn't be just giving out about teachers. But when as soon as he said teachers get nothing done, I was like, Micheál Martin. And he had just been on the Lewis, pretending like he'd never been on it before.
Yeah. The Red Line Lewis. Well, that sounds like a fine time.
The only video he's ever seen of the Lewis is that Bollywood action film.
Yeah. Oh.
But in between farming and mining, he found time to continue getting his stage time.
Yeah.
Thanks to an actress called Fanny Davenport. Don't laugh.
Okay.
She took a liking to William and cast him in all of her plays. I guess they'd have travelling troops. When Fanny died in 1898, William took off travelling before finding his way to the Big Apple.
Nice.
Minneapolis.
Minneapolis, the biggest apple of all.
He goes to New York, and this is where you know he's money because he's from money because I know in the script when we were talking to Mark Ivan, I just said 1,000 quid ?
Yeah,
and it's because in reports said that he got to New York and already had like 1,000, which at the time would have been quite a lot of money.
But he's just after coming from a literal gold mine.
There is that too.
Yeah.
I still think it's from the gentry.
Oh yeah.
But
you've no trust. No matter what he does now, no matter how many hours he puts in on the dude ranch, you'll still be like, he got it from his dad.
Yeah, well, I think it's because
he got it from his wealthy dad who lived in Carlow.
Well, I have bad memories of it because I know where the part in Carlow is from is up near where the driving centre is.
Yeah.
And just I failed my test like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
So anytime I'm in that general area.
You're just looking at the driving instructor being like, you fucking Nepo baby. How'd you get this job?
But when he gets to New York, he meets Miss Ethel May Harrison.
Nice.
Or Hamilton, I guess her name changes. It could be a stage name because she's a successful Broadway star, a singer, a dancer in a popular musical comedy called Florodora.
Nice.
She was a sextet, which means...
She was one of 6 people.
I was hoping for more in it.
I know, yeah.
Also, because I was just embarrassed the fact that I didn't know what that meant.
I don't think we did the first time we went through this. One more than a quintet, one less than a septet.
There you go.
Yep.
Her dad's a big-time stockbroker, and he owns a store on 5th Avenue.
Yeah.
Antique shop.
What year is this?
This is...
early 1900s.
Yeah.
Great time to be a stockbroker in New York. Nothing but good times for at least the next 15 years.
But he's got an antique shop down on 5th Avenue.
Yeah. Nice.
Called Antique Shop.
Yeah, I mean...
There's only one.
There's only one, yeah. And it's selling stuff from 3 weeks previous.
But,
the 1800s, 4 years ago.
But William would work in the shop.
I was in Canada recently, and we were going out. There's something... It was around Halloween, I guess, so maybe it's more of a time for ghost stories, but we were heading out further west. There's a lot of sort of ghost stories to do with the indigenous, like the native people there, and the European settlers, and like them coming up against each other. But all the ghost stories are from like, they tell you this horror story and like the ghost of the haunted figure who still walks across the cliff tops, and it was from 1899. Like, that's like there's Broadway plays, and like you can't tell a ghost story from a time where it's basically more or less now.
But what else are you gonna do? Make like... But all the stories would just be Native American stories.
Yeah, but why not?
They are ghost stories.
Yeah, they are. All the ghost stories are like, and then the white man came and robbed their
whatever
coal.
Happened to that? It was a white figure showed up.
Yeah, a ghost, pale white figure showed up. That was my favorite hockey team we found out there, the Fernie Ghost Riders. That's based on like a story from 1898 about Europeans stealing coal from the native people. That's not a ghost story. That's like recent exploitation of peoples. And it was a spooky tale of colonialism and Western expansion. And they say he haunts the mines to this day because it happened basically fucking like your granddad was around. His grandson
runs it still.
Yeah, because his grandson is here and you stole his land.
His grandson insisted on him being buried here.
Yeah. It's an ancient Indian burial ground from 4 years ago. Boy, I don't know. That's just a funny... This is all happening around the same time as like all their ghost stories.
Basically, it's our revolution.
Yeah, like it's like you're into very much the modern era, and they've turned... like what we refer to here as historical atrocities there, like it was a tale from beyond the grave, stranger than fiction.
Believe it or not, that one's true.
Yeah. We'll never know the mysterious Dutch settlers who appeared from over the waves and robbed the place blind. A tale only to be told on spooky nights.
But William would work in the shop.
Yeah. From beyond the crypt.
William would work in the shop by day and then by night be a fixture in the theatre scene alongside Ethel May. They marry in 1901 in the little church around the corner called the Church of Transfiguration, also known as the Little Church around the corner. And not long after, they have a child called Ethel Daisy. Also, when I said that he's a big fixture in the theatre scene, I don't mean, it doesn't seem to be acting much. I think he does act a little bit, but he's also just a big man for hanging around at the park. He's working during the day. He doesn't have time. He only has time at the night time for a little bit of 7 or 8 pints and chatting to everyone.
He's a Ronan from Shy Guys. He's a charismatic Irishman abroad in an art scene figure.
He's put on a paddy hat and he's glued a glass of Guinness to his hand.
Yeah, he's a charismatic Irishman in an art scene abroad. He was, he's not there for the day to day, but he's at every after party, and when he comes in, everyone's like, "Oh, here comes trouble." He's just finger gunning and winking, and everyone gravitates towards him.
God, I love Ronan. He's class. Yeah. Everyone go check out Shite Guides on YouTube.
Absolutely. I'll never forget seeing him cycle into that park with a paddy hat and a pint of Guinness at a time when no pub was open.
Didn't spill a drop.
But there was also, where did he get it? He poured it from home and cycled down in a Guinness branded glass.
Because he's a showman.
He's a consummate professional.
And if anyone's around the Netherlands, go down and see Ronan perform live. He's great.
Yes.
But now, William Desmond goes on to be known as a bit of a man about town, mingling in high society, all the big clubs and parties.
Yes.
A striking man, a regaler of stories, a tongue-in-cheeky chappy.
Nice. Yeah.
Women wanted to be with him. Men wanted him to stop talking to his women.
Yeah.
No, men wanted to have a pint with him.
Sure.
And both genders...
Go home, wife. I'm having a pint with...
But both genders get their chance because Taylor was a notorious drunk and a womanizer, is what the story says.
Okay.
Now, that's where Mark Ivan O'Gorman told us could be a bit... There's also rumours that he might be a gay man.
Sure. But this is... So the idea of a...
In fairness, I'd guess that myself. I didn't even need that told me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sure. You could read between the lines on a lot of what he was doing in his early life.
Theatre and the Dude Ranch.
But yeah. And I think there's, but
he has a child.
Yeah, but he's probably one of those fictional bisexuals that have only been invented recently by left-wing media.
Mm-hmm.
There's he's probably bisexual. But maybe the story of him being a drunk womanizer is put about in a... What am I trying to say? Well, we haven't got to his time in Hollywood yet, but that could be put about in the early 1900s as a good thing.
Well,
you know what I mean? When you say drunk womanizer, that's probably the best thing an actor can be.
Yeah,
he's a lush.
Colin Farrell route.
Yeah,
it's get all your fans in early with he's drunk.
Yeah,
he's writing his own lines in his sex tape.
Yeah.
Which again, at pains, no people don't bring that up enough.
That's accept. Yeah.
It was fantastic. And
it is great.
Did you ever see, I think it was on Graham Norton or wherever he was, and he just said, I think he made a joke about it was during the writer's strike. So he had to
write his own lines. Is breakfast, dinner, and tea. It's great.
He is a national treasure.
He is.
I love him so much.
Yeah. A great penguin.
But William was very anti-drug, but very pro-drink, which led many to think he had deep depression. Or either a mental illness because he was prone to bouts of amnesia.
Okay, well, but very anti-drug and very pro-drink is just every Irish person over the age of 55, I'd say. Yeah. Is it common enough?
Begbie. Oh, he's Scottish, but you're just saying.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Just whiskey, pints, cigarettes, every vice possible.
Yeah.
And just, what's this now?
Ooh.
Something new. I'll stick to what I know kills me.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
But these mental lapses...
I'm not going up against the Vinter Society after they've done so much for me. All the pints. Couldn't do it to them.
But these mental lapses or amnesia were used as a reason why in October 1908 he vanishes. Not a word to anyone. His friends say this is common enough, but this time he didn't come back.
Oh.
Now, he did take out 600 quid at the time.
Right.
And then he gifted that to his wife. Or sorry, 500 of it to his wife, kept 100 quid as he went on his merry way. So I don't know if he just absconds and just leaves her. He gives her a good chunk of money.
Yeah.
And I think
But where did he get the money from?
he's married to a very rich woman, so I think he just takes
so
it
her
her account.
money. She didn't gift her anything.
Hey, maybe he robbed it from her dad.
Yeah.
And then gave it
He did. So he stole 600 either from her
on
dad or their joint
inheritance.
account, and then give some of it back and left.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, look, it's more than what a lot of lads do.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
So having ran away in the middle of the night but this is also a reason why people think he's just. Oh, I suppose he's drinking a lot at the time.
Yeah.
It's probably not good for him.
Sure.
He should be getting back out to getting his hands dirty, working, doing stuff with his life instead of just being basically a kept man.
Sure.
And drinking the head of himself constantly. And if he was gay, he's leading a life that he wouldn't necessarily feel comfortable with. But having run away in the middle of the night, William travelled through Canada, Alaska, and the northwestern United States, taking up odd jobs like hotel night clerk, working in a paper mill, and gold mining. He kept up the arts when he could.
But one of those is not like the others.
Night clerk.
He's rough and tumble. It's an honest graft.
And
he's
then,
back to gold mining again.
And then a paper mill.
Yeah, it was a literal gold mine.
That's at the end. Yeah, but you have to work to get money to travel to the gold mine. Should have kept some of that money. Shouldn't have given it all to the wife.
He shouldn't have given it all to the wife. But or maybe he's.
Or maybe it's a thing of he wants to work at night time to keep himself occupied, so he's not just on the sauce.
Maybe,
mm-hmm.
Maybe.
But he keeps up the arts and does acting and producing as he's travelling around in theatre troupes along the way whenever he gets the chance. By 1912, he ends up in San Francisco, where a few friends from his New York days give him a place to crash for a while, give him a little cash, some connections. He sets off down to Hollywood land. And it's at this point he changes his name from William Cunningham Dean Tanner to his new Hollywood name, William Desmond Taylor.
Okay.
Which I feel like I've already switched back and forth between the names a couple of times.
Yeah, so he was born Dean Tanner.
William Cunningham Dean Tanner.
Tanner, yeah. And now he's Desmond Taylor.
Yep.
Okay. So is that
there's a way
Screen Actors Guild thing?
Do you think there's another William Cunningham Dean Tanner?
Yeah.
He plays
another, yeah.
He plays Poochie the dog.
It's a SAG requirement.
But also in 1912
they were very anti-Semitic at the time. Cunningham did that.
It's also in 1912 his wife finally gets granted the divorce.
Right.
Because you need to prove that they're either dead or it's been a couple of years. It's been a while now. He's just been off gallivanting.
Yeah.
And he hasn't. There's no proof of.
You can't. You have to wait a number of years until they're assumed dead.
Yeah.
Even though so he's also meeting people that he knew from New York and they're giving him money.
Yeah. But now they wouldn't have been.
They wouldn't have told the wife.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, how long?
Sorry. I forgot you said they were friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good friends.
They're really good friends.
Yeah. They're the sort of friends that set you up with a job in this side of the country, give you money to get yourself on your feet, and don't tell your wife or kid that you're alive.
Yeah.
Mates.
Your best man.
The lads.
He's moved to Hollywood as like something from a movie.
Oh.
He stars in 27 films in the space of 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
The most notorious of which is...
Sorry, just when you're saying it is like something of a movie, I guess is this getting into the bit of like... This is what Mark was kind of saying, that it is like... It was written by someone in Hollywood.
Yes.
And perhaps that's because it was. Like maybe the whole... all-American man, Americana, on the road, odd job, traveling across, seeing the real... states as they are. Maybe that's all just bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, it's like an Irish lad who was working hard in the mines.
Because it feels like a montage in a lot of, you're seeing everything, you're getting in touch with the everyman, and then you end up in Hollywood. And maybe it is all just like a press release.
Very, very possibly.
Yeah.
But I mean, he would have had to work along the way because there are a good few. Well, I suppose he's acting in troops all along the way.
Yeah. But instead of, so he starts in New York, he runs off, but instead of going up around the whole long way doing odd jobs, if he just went straight to San Francisco
and just started
to do acting.
Yeah. Well, I do think, look.
Yeah, I mean, that's
unsubstantiated.
Yeah. It's the good people at MGM were good enough to write this. So we may as well read it.
It was co-signed by Faraday Arbuck.
Yeah.
Which we'll get into later on.
Sure.
But yeah, so he does 27 films in like 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah.
But I guess at the time that's very common because films are like 20 minutes long, and it's
You're
all one
banging
quick
them out.
take.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 4 films at once.
Yes.
One side of your face is painted one way.
Yeah.
But the most famous of all the films is Captain Alvarez, 1914, in which he performed the most dangerous stunt in cinema history at the time by riding a horse across a bridge.
Yep.
Now,
No, a wooden bridge.
A rope bridge.
A Jungle Canyon rope bridge.
Rope
Yes.
bridge.
But he's doing his own stunts.
When you see it, it's far more impressive.
Yeah.
And I say that having never seen it.
But I can only assume that it is more impressive if you see it.
But the same year, 1914, he starts directing films as well and gets engaged to an actress called Neva Gerber. Gerber once said, "He was the soul of honor, a man of personal culture, education and refinement. I've never known a finer or better man," which, depending on whether he just left his wife and child or if she gave him she was like, "No, go on, pursue your dream."
Yeah.
Really flips and flops.
Sure.
Could be an absolute bastard.
Yeah. Yeah.
In 1915,
She might have just not met many men.
or she could have just been a wagon.
Yeah. That's true. She says that about everybody.
But in 1915, he contacted his sister-in-law, Ada Brennan Dean Tanner, wife of his brother Dennis, and she then moved herself over with her kids out to California, where she could receive treatment for TB, as her sister's husband was the head doctor there.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
So her sister, which we haven't mentioned at all in the story, it's not important, just her sister's husband is in America working, is a head like TB guy in California. And William pays for her to fly out there so she can get the free treatment. I think is what it's. Also,
so he's still in contact with the family.
This is his brother's wife.
Yeah, but like his
Oh yeah,
his
family. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Oh no, I'm sure he's told them everything.
Yeah,
he's just like, just with the caveat, don't tell my wife.
Yeah, don't tell my wife. The letters are flying over New York back to Carlow.
But his brother Dennis,
yeah,
which would have been Ada's husband, who was a lieutenant in the British Army and also a manager of the New York antiques business that William worked in, he brought him over there as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The reason he didn't come over with Ada was because he too abandoned his family and disappeared in 1912.
Okay. Yeah.
Running away runs in the family.
Yeah. To be fair, 1912 is a good time to abandon the British Army.
That's very, yeah.
Good call there.
But William starts directing.
I mean, unless you're a war hero.
Yeah, well, so they probably just looked at the writing on the wall and they're like, how about just antiques and films in America?
Yeah.
But William starts directing in 1914 and goes on to direct 59 films in 8 years.
God. Yeah.
Including the first adaptations, I think, of Davy Crockett and Tom Sawyer.
Yeah.
1916, 1917. That's what he was up to around that time.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Everyone's in World War I. He's like, take it again. Hit the ore harder.
Mm-hmm. Well, now, speaking of World War I, in 1918, he's working on a military comedy called Johanna Enlists. When he finishes filming...
What?
Yeah.
Johan?
No, it says Johanna Enlists.
Okay.
So I think it's a comedy where probably an attractive lady... You know, they're always saying, women aren't allowed to star in westerns or in army movies.
Mm.
But this is if it's a comedy and you're gorgeous.
Okay.
So
she's in... Okay.
Yeah, so he directs this, and then when he finishes filming, he goes and signs up for the Canadian Army as a private at the age of 46.
In what? In 1918? So the end of the war?
Yeah.
Okay.
He travels over with the lads to London in December 1918.
Okay.
Gets sent to Dunkirk in February, but again... different. We're thinking Dunkirk for World War II. He's there years in advance. He's ahead of the game.
Yeah. Christopher Nolan hasn't even begun.
But
what'd you call it? Early photography.
Daguerre.
Huh?
Daguerre.
Oh, okay. That's not what I was thinking of.
Oh no, principal photography. I thought you were talking about the early early photography was not. Okay. No. Never mind. Yeah. Too knowledgeable. Too knowledgeable. But yeah, he gets sent to Dunkirk in February, where he serves as a lieutenant. quick rise through the ranks there as for a 46-year-old private, and finishes his tour in April as a major and heads back to LA where they throw him a banquet. The Motion Pictures Directors Association throw him a banquet before he goes straight back to making films. And that's
but now as a war hero.
Yes, that's where Mark was like, well, if he wanted to, he could have joined the American military.
Sure.
He could have went back and fought for the English army,
sure,
British army. He could have done it way earlier.
Yep.
He could have also done it not just off the back of army movie that he directed and wanted to really promote.
But that's such a quick rising through the ranks of.
Oh, yeah, in the space of a couple of months. I know. So he's joined the Canadian Army.
Yes.
At the very end of the war.
Yeah.
Has gone over to a place where there's no fighting happening. I think he may have worked as like the chef.
Yeah.
And then
just do you reckon? Yeah.
He was just acting for lads. So when they get like the entertainment troupe.
He was doing yeah. But was Mark? I can't remember. Did he say that it was probably?
Oh yes, Johanna and Liz. Yeah, that.
Oh no, but even just the production company wanted to it's good to have a war hero.
Yeah, a war hero director. Because at the end of the war, you're going to have a load of
war hero
movies.
Back, yeah, but they had a lot of PTSD. So it'd be great if you were a war hero director, but you actually hadn't seen it.
Hadn't seen anything, and people already know your name, and you're famous, and now you're a hero. Then and it's like, hey, we have all of these, and you've got like what's the word? Clout.
Yeah. Now, not to labour this point, but there's another place where there's a bit of fighting being done that they also missed. Outside the GPO, Easter, 1916. Where was he that? Off filming bloody J.V. Crockett when the fellas needed him most. I'm not hearing an awful lot about that in the script.
That's also very true. Now, because I couldn't find when I was looking, it's not so important or not whether he, like, it's hard to know at the time, the gentry, whether they would have been on. Yeah, well, like everyone in Ireland at the time, most people in Ireland, as they say, would have been like, just leave well enough alone.
Yeah,
it's like, it's not well enough. We'll leave it alone anyway.
Leave it alone anyway. Yeah. If it does change, be like, I always said they should get up off there, get out and do something.
I was there.
I was there. I was there. And Powder Pierce says to me, get out of the way, young lad.
Powder Pierce says to me, do you have a pen?
Do you have a pen? And I said, you're a traitor to the crown. I'll see you hang for this. Put me in the jury, Your Majesty. I'll do my civil duty.
But within a year of
sure, in the end, they named the bloody street after him.
But within a year of his return from war, he directs his first ever film adaptation of Huckleberry Finn. And the next year, he does Anne of the Green Gables.
Yeah.
And he directs it as well.
Okay.
In 1918, his ex-wife, Ethel May Hamilton, realised he was still alive because she went to the cinema with her daughter.
Yeah.
And when he appeared on screen on a galloping horse across a rope bridge, she taps Daisy and goes, "That's your dad."
Okay. So she probably knew.
It seems like she probably would have known.
Yeah, but the kid, okay.
The kid wouldn't have, but she was like, look at your dad doing well there.
Yeah. It's I'm happy for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But he eventually made Daisy his legal heir in 1921, which was handy because on the February 2nd in 1922 at 7:30 a.m. he was found dead at his home in Alvarado Court Apartments, Westlake, Los Angeles, California, Hollywood, America.
God damn. When was she written into the will?
In 21,
okay.
And then so in February 2nd, 22. Dead.
Oh.
Now.
Damn.
Timeline of the night. Oh, so that's what all of that stuff so far is an interesting story.
Yeah.
All of that's left out. If you Google any of this, or see any videos, any documentaries, it basically just starts as him being like, famous Hollywood director. It's like the original Black Dahlia.
Yeah.
He has such a cool life.
Yeah.
Also, it might all be a lie as part of a PR, like a press release.
But it's a cool lie.
Yeah, it should definitely be like a setup. Before you start talking about. Now, in fairness, it is like one of the first ever Hollywood murder mysteries.
Sure.
Yeah. William had been drinking in his apartment with a young actress by the name of.
Hold on. I think I've heard this. Okay.
What?
Well, this is the start of a lot of Hollywood scandals. He was a middle-aged man, elderly, drinking alone in his apartment with a young actress. Was she looking for a breakout role?
Well, that's not that. Hey, you're jumping to aspersions.
Or were they drinking Weinstein?
No,
just a lot of good, solid advice, you know.
Well, she did an interview, with the police, not like the Hollywood Reporter. The Mabel goes to the police. She said on the night in question, they'd been drinking orange gin blossom cocktails, discussing Nietzsche, Freud, movies, and music. Mabel said she played the piano as she was cracking jokes, and he had a great time and laughed at all of them. And then he walked her to her limo at 7:45, and nothing happened.
Okay.
And then his time of death was 7:50.
Okay. All right.
I just love the idea of the police come and interview you, and you're like, "What happened on the night?" Well, I was a hoot.
Listen, the only murder there was me killing killing the room. Straight up murder for 45 minutes. Philosophy quotes, playing the piano, laughing, dramatic acting, musical, hand magic. Really all-round talent. And then he walked me to my car. I mean, you know what? Walked me to my limo. A big limo. One of the better ones. Expensive.
Stretch limo.
Stretch. Yeah.
Real classy. But yeah.
I mean, if you're going to lie, you may as well lie big.
Are you sure? It's going to go into all of the... It's a time when any scandal... we mentioned Fatty Arbuckle. This is around the time where Hollywood would have been going through a load of scandals of... It's where they put in their the clauses into contracts, basically saying like morality clauses, saying that if you're ever caught doing anything nefarious or untoward, they can just cancel you there and you can be done. Because they want only the upstanding members of society making films.
It's a good thing they nipped that in the bud
straight away, thank God. Imagine where we'd be without it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Cancel culture gone wrong. A man can't just get kicked off a job for committing various sex crimes.
Well, see, because Fatty Arbuckle was, obviously, he did a sex crime. Was it he shoved a bottle of wine up?
Yeah.
Yeah. We shouldn't ruin the tone of the podcast. But he did really
was
bad.
That? Yeah, he had a court case at the time.
Yeah, he was most famous comedic Hollywood actor at the time.
Yeah.
And he
was a big fat jolly comedy actor, and he was that true, or was that the rumor that he sexually assaulted someone with a
wine bottle?
Yeah. But he was up in court for sexual assault or rape.
I think that kind of was the end of it. I think that was
but that was like a big scandal at the time.
That was huge. There was a couple of other people who would have died of opioid overdoses.
Yes,
people crashing their cars while writing off a car while they were wrote off on something else.
Sure, a lot of things that had just recently got their way to Hollywood. Cars, opium,
But newspapers there, and it's kind of the beginning of the
cars, opium, fat ugly men getting a lot of money and power beyond what they would have seen in their small towns.
But that would have been the beginning of the tabloid culture. So everyone was looking at, because it was Tinseltown, all around the rest of America, people are watching these films. It's only been made in a very small part of California, and they're all stars. So all of a sudden, it's like soap operas, just like any kind of story is going to be, well, it's much like today. But but they weren't as good at covering it up or hiding it.
No.
Should have been making
I just
Confidential
saw
references.
That?
I should have been talking about LA Confidential this whole time.
Yeah. Because of what? Hugh Jackman
because of the time period.
Guys, Hugh Jackman's not even in that, is he?
No.
Who am I thinking of?
Russell Crowe.
Yeah, Russell Crowe.
Yeah, he's really good. Guy Pearce is fantastic in it. Oliver Cromwell.
Yeah.
Who always plays an Irish. He plays an Irish cop in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and does a terrible. That's where he's like, laddie.
Not for all, jeez, I wouldn't trade places with him, bucko. Not for all the tea in Ireland. Is that his line? Yeah. Oh, I wouldn't envy being on the wrong end of his shillelagh, laddie. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that is a
it is. Yeah. That's terrible. It's fair play to him.
Oh, great actor. R.I.P. to a hero. That is a great movie.
It's a great movie. And when you think about the tabloid...
Let's watch it.
But tabloid journalists and such, think of the likes of low-down, dirty journalists Kevin Spacey.
Sure.
Reporting on low-down, dirty crimes like Kevin Spacey.
Like if Kevin Spacey was a journalist.
The balls on him to play that role.
Yeah. But the yeah, that's true. Undercovering. God, he was flying close to the sun there for a long time. Yeah, isn't that the whole plot that he's like? I can't remember what
he
that
was
actor
taking
is.
the hobbits to Isengard.
But he was because he's doing a lot of stuff about like undercover, like older Hollywood actors sleeping with young men and reporting that in his scandalous journal.
Yeah, proper Crystalia U type deal.
Yeah.
But and by you, I mean what you've been getting up to.
Of course, yeah, Crystalia stuff.
But Faith Cole McLean was a neighbour. Her and her husband heard a loud noise at about 8 o'clock and went to their front door to check to see if they could see anything. Faith told police that she saw a figure emerge from Taylor's front door, pause as if he'd forgot something before going back in, and then on the way out, saw them again. This person saw them, smiled, and left.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. She described the figure as my idea of a motion picture burglar.
Yeah, okay. The black and white stripy t-shirt.
Like a sideways referee.
Yeah. Like the hamburger. Yeah. A little
raccoon looking.
Yeah.
So
a big bag with a dollar sign on it.
But she also just said that they looked funny, like movie actors with white face makeup.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. She said that despite this, when she heard the big bang go off, she thought that was really just a car backfiring.
Yeah.
Looked
like what more do you want? So you see like a burglar tiptoeing out of his house.
Mm-hmm.
There's like an anvil dropped on his front porch. Hear a big bang. You're like, oh, probably just the wind.
That's just shows that it looked like probably a man wearing a wig, or sorry, maybe a woman dressed up as a man. So I'd also heard around. There's someone else who'd given a report saying that they'd heard they'd heard a woman like in distress screaming.
Yeah,
and then they were like, what's that under? And they put their ear up to like a wall and they're like, that's just probably someone having sex in the elevator.
Okay. Yeah. What elevator?
I don't know.
Oh, he lives in an apartment.
Yeah. Also, it's important to, the Alvarado Court apartments. Yeah. It's important as well to know at this time, it's Hollywood.
Yeah.
All the people around on that street or in those apartments, anywhere in the local vicinity.
All trying to be actors.
Trying to be actors or famous in some way.
Okay.
So when the police are coming around to interview anyone.
I saw it. I saw it all, officer. Yeah. It was over that away. Well, let me take that again. It was over that away. So
that's my bad side. Actually, it was over that away.
There's just a queue of people lining up. Like, I saw a burglar. I was aghast. I said. Any more questions, you can go to my agent. My father.
There's loads of reports like that. So I'm going to people, like there's two guys at a petrol station, unnamed, who said that they saw an unnamed man.
Right.
A strange man went into the station and asked, this is about an hour and 50 minutes before he was shot. He had one question. Where does William Desmond Taylor live?
Okay. That is suspicious.
That is a bit suspicious.
Yeah.
And then they also found 6 cigarette butts, probably kind of like the cigarettes you'd buy at a gas station.
Okay.
They were found in the alleyway behind his gaff.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
So it's kind of like someone's just out there chain smoking, waiting for their opportunity.
Yeah.
Waiting for this lady to stop discussing Nietzsche.
Yeah. He was fascinated. He was listening up to the wall, being like, that is a really good take. But, and what is that her on the piano as well? What an all-rounder.
William's body gets discovered the next morning.
Yeah.
By Henry Peavy, his caretaker and valet. A crowd forms. As murder hadn't been as popular at the time in Hollywood as it would be today, this is still big news.
Yeah, they're 10 a penny now.
A doctor steps forward. He emerges from the crowd. He examines the body. He turns to the crowd and explains the cause of death as a hemorrhage inside the stomach.
Okay. Nice. Well, where is the body? In a public place?
It's in his gaff.
So there's just everyone's just piling in.
Everyone's already in there. Okay. Just look around.
Yeah.
Just touch the body a little bit, move it around a bit.
Yeah.
Add more fingerprints.
It's a crime scene. You gotta get in there early. You get a memento before the bloody police clean the place up.
Well, it is like a police work at the time.
Yeah.
Whereas because they don't have like CSI.
Sure.
They don't have sunglasses yet.
No.
But they.
So there's a lot more unemployed people in Hollywood.
Yeah.
They haven't got CSI yet.
But they've got. The studios have already sent their men down to clean up the area of all of any, I mean, it's prohibition time. William loves a drink. Yeah, He's got alcohol all over the place. He's a famous director. They're like, let's just save that.
Yeah,
right?
I just
Also,
pictured a beautiful montage of just like just lifting all the bottles and putting like holy water down. Like,
someone's got to get rid of these bottles quickly.
Yeah, just putting holy water down and then come along and drinking the holy water. Feel like he's a Catholic. Get the fuck. Replacing the smut magazines with the Bible, Protestant Bible, James. So they do a rinse job of the place.
Yeah, because the studios at the time, again, they've gone through all these scandals.
Yeah,
and they're just like, we just can't deal with another one, so they send people down as a clean-up job.
Yeah.
So basically, the crime scene's been tampered with a lot.
Sure.
They
get rid of all of that. Yeah.
Everyone, I imagine, whoever knew him once they'd heard about this, went down there to try and get rid of any.
Yeah, okay.
Like, people probably have a lot of their own stuff in these gaff.
Well, they probably figured he was drank himself to death.
Well, so Henry Peavy, the caretaker driver, he said, or he would have been known to anyway, that William had like intestinal problems, probably from loads of drinking over the years.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't have been that strange if someone said, "Oh, he's a stomach complaint. He's died of a hemorrhage in his stomach." Everyone was like, "Oh, that kind of plays."
Yeah.
So when the doctor turns around and says that, everyone's like, "What?" So it's normal enough that they just believe this doctor. So they go right ahead and call the police 12 hours after his body's found.
Okay.
Just enough time.
Yeah.
To let... I guess, again, I've played LA Noire, video game.
Okay.
And I've seen LA Confidential. That's my entire knowledge of this time period.
Yeah.
And
of crime.
Like, fingerprints weren't a thing.
Sure.
So people would just pick up. Basically, the only way to prove if someone had did something was sitting them down, looking them in the eye and say, "Did you do it?"
Yeah.
Okay.
They hadn't even thought of the trick of being like, so after you killed the body,
did you really do it?
It was just bad cop and bad
cop. I promise I'll stop. Did you
Some cop, they hadn't invented good cop yet. They'd walk in and be like, "Do you want a cup of coffee?" And it's like, "Yeah, I really need it after I killed them 5 hookers."
Never mind that. Did you do this?
Forget about the dames. Did you kill Desmond?
But a quick look over the body by the forensic team.
Yeah.
So again, fingerprints wouldn't have been as much of a thing, but what was a thing was checking his back to see if there was any bullet holes, and there was, because he'd been shot a couple of times by a small caliber pistol, which wasn't found at the crime scene.
Okay.
Now,
neither was the doctor who diagnosed him with hemorrhage.
No, yeah, he'd gone. He did the Homer Simpson walk through the bushes as soon as he just said that. He's like, it's his stomach. He's bleeding out there from the 3 holes in his stomach.
Yeah. I'm picturing him showing up in like a lab coat and with a stethoscope around
the fake nose with the glasses attached.
Yeah, like a doctor's bag with a medical cross on it. I'm a doctor. Or I certainly play one on television.
But when the police arrived, Taylor had been found with $78. That's over 1,500 quid today. A Waltham pocket watch, a good couple of thousand today. A penknife and a locket containing a picture of Mabel Normand, the actress from earlier on.
Okay.
And a 2-carat diamond ring on his finger. So they kind of assume money's not seen as the motive for murder. Also, the way he's died is it looks like he's shot in the back.
Oh.
But then falls, so they find him on his back.
Yeah.
So you'd think usually you'd go forward then.
Yeah.
And just, I make this
But he's
point.
probably been rolled over then, oh no.
Possibly, who knows? I just to make the point.
Yeah.
I watched this like BuzzFeed, and it has like nearly like 6 million views or something. Like, it's mad, whatever it is, it's mad.
Yeah.
Way too much for these two lads who don't have an ounce of charisma between the two.
This is getting very personal.
I was really annoyed by it, because what they do is they're like, so he's shot in his back. It must have been someone went for a hug and then shot him in the back. That was that's what they guessed.
The stupidest.
This is the stupidest thing I'd ever heard. I was like, surely if you had a gun,
stomach.
yeah, but you'd be like, I have a gun, turn around, and he probably turned around and they shot him and probably laid him down, or else he turned around when he was shot, just rolling around. Either way, no one go look at that BuzzFeed thing, because it'll probably contradict a lot of the things I said. Well,
he wasn't from Carlow at all. He's from Wexford.
But yeah, so money wasn't seen as a motive for the murder. However, the day before, Taylor had seemingly shown his accountant a big giant heap of cash that he had, and that was never found.
Sure. But I mean, everyone in the city has been in his apartment.
Yeah. And She's dead. He can't take it with him.
No, that's true.
Charles
You never see a hearse with a trailer behind it. That's what they say.
Charles Ayton was the GM of Paramount Pictures, and he's the lad who went into the house with all of his employees to clean the feck out of this place.
Yeah.
Mabel Normand was also rooting around for incriminating photos when the cops showed up.
Okay. Yeah.
Photos / love letters.
Smut.
Yeah. She had a cocaine addiction worth up to $2,000 a month. Now, I don't know if that was their money then or our money now. Either way, that's a lot.
That is a lot.
That's a lot. Because if it is, judging by $78 was £1,500.
Yeah.
$2,000 a month was...
Ooh.
She's getting Matthew Perry'd. She's just like, how much is a bag of cocaine? Oh, it's probably, what is that, like 15 grand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just keep it coming.
Just don't ask anyone else what the market value of this drug is. Just keep going just to me. But
I wonder, it'd be interesting. Would it be easier or more difficult to get cocaine back then? Probably more difficult. I don't know.
I'd say it must have been handy enough. For some variant or something
like
it.
Like in Prohibition era.
Was it illegal? What you make up for with having no drink is loads of
cocaine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you straighten yourself out then? More cocaine?
Or cocaine.
Or heroin.
Yeah.
But William is said to, before his death, have met with the feds to try and help them file charges against their dealers.
What a narc.
Yeah.
Damn.
So it could be the people who... The drug dealers don't get on their wrong side.
No, that's fair.
But now... so during
he was going to the feds to rat on her drug dealers.
Yeah, so that's
okay.
Because we're going to do the suspects in a Patreon episode because we'll wrap this up now in a second.
Yeah,
but
we're going to name names.
Yes,
right on the back of me accusing him of being a narc. We're like, we'll be doing a bit of narking on our own. Finally, putting this 100-year-old cold case to bed
during the media storm. Surrounding the murder, Los Angeles Undersheriff, which is a great title, Eugene Biscaluz warned Chicago Tribune reporter Eddie Doherty, "The industry's been hurt. Stars have been ruined. Stockholders have lost millions of dollars. A lot of people are out of jobs and incensed enough to take a shot at you."
Oh.
Robert Giroux, he edited the writings of T.S. Eliot, George Orwell, Virginia Woolf, Jack Kerouac, Seamus Heaney.
Nice.
He said, "The studios seemed to be fearful that if certain aspects of the case were exposed, it'd exacerbate their problems."
Yeah.
And then King Vidor said of the case in 1968, "Last year I interviewed a Los Angeles police detective, William Michael Cahill, Sr., now retired, who'd been assigned to the case immediately after the murder. He told me, we were doing all right, and then, before a week was out, we got the word to lay off."
Oh. I wouldn't go near that case for all the tea in Ireland, bucko.
For all the money that was in his desk.
All the money that was in his desk. Yeah, okay. So the cops were told to cool the jets.
Yeah. A week in, because they said obviously there's a lot of leads. And you're probably talking to a million actors who are like, I know what happened.
Yeah.
And then they're just told to, it's a week. What's that? After the first 48 hours? No chance of catching anyone.
Yeah. Unless someone's come forward, it's dead. Yeah. Cold case. Okay.
So that's now he's dead.
Yeah.
That's the timeline of the night. Okay. There's a little bit of the afters.
Yeah.
That'll come down to just under an hour.
Yeah. A classic whodunit.
But so for the rest of that, because you don't want to name names on a free episode, that could hurt the reputations of good men like Henry Peavy.
Yeah.
Or bad men like Edward F. Sands.
Yeah.
And
they're all dead though this stage.
Yeah, but they've probably got
living grandchildren.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is go through all of the suspects in the Patreon episode.
Yeah.
You can go over there now and enjoy that. All right, that's the end of this episode then.
Yeah.
All right, good luck.
Goodbye.
Shafter.